Hello, Sunshine Fam. I didn't know you were there. I'm Chloe. I think I'm going to start by reading another story out of my favorite book. One of my favorite books. Because apparently the way I read it is quite amusing and entertaining. So, this is a book called All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. It's a much older book by a gentleman by the name of Robert Fulghum. So let's get started. The man next door cleaned his gutters yesterday. Downspouts too. He's done it before. I saw him last year. Amazing. I was 40 years old before I even knew that people cleaned gutters and downspouts. And I haven't been able to get around to doing it once yet. I live in awe of people who get those jobs done. The people who live orderly lives. You're looking at one actually here. That's my input. The ones who always do what needs to be done and do it right. Okay, that's more my dad actually. I know of people who actually balance their checkbooks each month. That would definitely be my dad. I know that's hardly credible, but I swear it's so. Here's a question. Do you guys use your checkbook? These people also have filing cabinets, not shoeboxes, with neat, up-to-date, relevant files. They can find things around the house when they need them. There is order under their sinks, in their closets, and in the trunks of their cars. This guy was literally writing about my father. His house always looked like Better Homes and Gardens. Honest to goodness. They actually change the filter on their furnace once a year. Well, I think in this day and age, it's more like twice a year. They put oil and grease on mechanical things. Their warranties runneth not out. Not only do their flashlights work, they actually know where their flashlights are. Oh. When their car was last serviced, they know that too. The tools in their garage are on the pegboard, right where they are supposed to be. Honest to God, this is seriously my dad. Maybe not so much these days, but their taxes are based on facts, not hunches and prayer. It's kind of funny since we're in tax season. When they go to sleep at night, their list of things to do has a line through every item. That's definitely not me. And when they arise in the morning, their bathrobe is right there beside the bed, and it is clean and new. Socks, right there in the drawer. Folded into matching pairs. Yes! And as they prepare to walk out the door into a new day, they know exactly where their car keys are and are not worried about the state of the car battery or if there's enough gas to get to work. We'll talk about gas here in a little bit. Briefly. There are such people, my father. Ones who have it all together, exempt from the reign of chaos and the laws of entropy. I see them every day all around me. Calm and easy pillars of society. Calm and easy? Maybe not so much in this country. They are the people in your high school yearbook you wanted to be. The ones who made it. Well, I am not one of them. Out of the frying pan into the spilt milk is more me. Most of the time, daily life is a lot like an endless chore of chasing chickens in a large pen. Life is an air raid drill. Never mind the details. Another item we'll get into in this video. But I have a recurring fantasy that sees me through. It is my stick polishing fantasy. One day, a committee of elders will come to my door and tell me it is time to perform the ritual of the polished stick. A rite of passage for the good at heart but chronically disorganized. Here's the way it works. You get elected for this deal because you are such a good person at heart. Sorry. Certain somebody just came into my head. And it is time you were let off the hook. First, a week of your life is given to you free of all obligations. Your calendar is wiped clean. No committee meetings, no overdue anything, bills, correspondence, or unanswered phone calls. You are taken to a nice place where it is all quiet and serene and zen. You are cared for, fed well, and often affirmed. Your task is simply this: to spend a week polishing a stick. They give you some sandpaper and lemon oil and rags, and, of course, the stick. A nice but ordinary piece of wood. All you have to do is polish it as well as you can, whenever you feel like it. That's it. Polish the stick. Maybe that's what I should have been doing the last 3 months. At the end of the week, the elders will return. They will gravely examine your work. They will praise you for your expertise, your sensitivity, and your spiritual insight. No stick was ever polished quite like this, they will exclaim. Your picture will appear on TV and in the papers. The story will say, "Man who is good at heart and well-intentioned has thoroughly and completely and admiredly polished his stick." You will be escorted home in quiet triumph. Your family and neighbors will give you looks of respect. As you pass in the streets, people will smile knowingly and wave and give you a thumbs up sign. You will have passed into another stage of being. But more than that, from this time forward, you may ignore your gutters and downspouts. Your checkbook and files and formats and closets and drawers and taxes and even the trunk of your car will be taken care of for you. You are now exempt from these concerns. You are forever released into the bond of things to do, for you have polished the stick. Look at it hanging there over your mantle. Be proud, stick polisher. This is really something, and it is enough. Oh, don't I wish. So now let's jump into this. I just noticed that my camera is kind of screwy here. I can't really pull that down a little bit. There we go. Now I look better. Sorry. So I want to start out by telling you some very good news that I got yesterday. I meant to put this video out yesterday, but by the time I realized I wanted to do it, it was kind of late in the day. And I didn't want to put it out at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So, kind of going along the way that I was reading that story, what some of you, or maybe most of you, don't realize the steps that I take in uploading these videos to you. Most of the work is done on by my computer. I videotape this onto my little Sony camera, which is a picture and video camera, digital, obviously. I don't know if there is such a thing as film cameras anymore, unless you want to go to like an old flea market or an antique store to get one. Then what I do is, after I'm done filming this video, or my videos, I upload them onto my desktop computer. Yes, I do still have a desktop. And that takes a little bit of time for my computer to upload it, especially the longer ones. Then, once it's uploaded onto my computer, then I go into my YouTube channel and I upload the video from my computer onto YouTube. That's the part that takes forever. So I don't have, it's like a watch pod, a watch pot never boils. I don't have 2 to 3 hours, literally, to sit there in front of my computer and wait for the video to be uploaded. So while it's uploading, I go and do other things. But yeah, that's the part that takes the longest to get the video out to you. So I may be making my videos at like a little after noon in the afternoon, but the video may not be uploaded till 7 o'clock at night. So those are the steps that I take right now to upload a video. And like I said before, I don't have editing software, otherwise it would take me a little bit longer to upload the video, because then I have to edit it all together and then transfer it onto YouTube, which could take even longer because it's going to be a longer video in some cases. So those are the steps that I have to take. So I really appreciate your patience in me getting these videos out to you. Now, let's get back to what my story is. So yesterday I went to the doctor and I found out some very good news. My shoulder is now completely healed. You can't even tell that I had it fractured, that the bone was fractured at all. So that's the good news. The other thing that he said is I'm 90% better. But the best news of all, I can now go back to work. I have been sitting here climbing the walls since December 8th. It is now March 3rd. So you guys are like, well, why didn't you just get out of your apartment once in a while? Well, because Minnesota winters are not always the greatest, especially for people that suffer from SAD and don't like the cold and the snow and don't like driving on icy roads. So that is why I spent most of my time in the past 3 months sitting in my apartment, basically playing Happy Color on my phone and watching YouTube videos. Speaking of YouTube videos, I do want to suggest, now that I'm going to be going back to work next week, I do want to suggest that instead of waiting for me to upload new videos about what's going on out there in the world, since now my time is going to be limited, that you go and watch a young kid in his 30s, I believe, by the name of Luke Beasley. I know I've mentioned him in my videos before, but he does a lot more research than I do. He adds video clips to his videos, news clips and the like. He can be quite funny with his commentary on what's going on, but lately, because of this war in Iran, I keep saying Iraq, but when I'm talking to people, I keep saying the war in Iraq, or the war in Iraq. It's actually in Iran. So if I do say Iraq, I mean Iran. He's like the rest of us. He is quite irritated by what Carpathia is doing. So he would be a better one to watch. And he's got a lot of videos out, so you can go back in his channel and watch some of his older videos. He does put live streams out. You can join his channel where you get access to his bonus shows and, different things. I don't know if he has merch or not, but he's pretty popular. I mean, he's been on Piers Morgan, okay? So, yeah, he's a lot more popular than me. So, yeah, I suggest that going forward, you watch Luke Beasley on YouTube and comment on his videos. Some of you may have come to my channel from his channel, but I am kind of plugging his channel. So I've been watching a lot of his videos, and some of the things he says, not only what he says, but the way he says it. I mean, he's so commonsensically that it absolutely puts me in stitches when he says certain things, because it's such common sense that people in the White House don't think like him. Personally, I think he should be our next president, Luke Beasley. Probably not interested, may not even be old enough to be our next president, but he's just an amazing kid. And I say kid because he's probably like in his 30s, and I've got, all my children are in their 30s. My, Sea Dog is, he He's about mid-30s. About mid-30s, yeah. So, anyway, getting into this whole Iran war. War, I say, because some people say it's a war, some people say it's not a war. Do we even know what it is? It acts like a war. It looks like a war. So, watching some of these newscasts, and of course, Luke Beasley, and I've gone into like Jimmy Kimmel's opening, like his monologue, and Jon Stewart, he's got these shorts and everything. Funny as all get out. I'm sure you've seen some of his stuff too. So, I want to read to you some statements that I have put down because I'm really, really confused. Because the more I'm seeing and reading, the more confused I'm getting. Okay, so my number one question is why Carpathia, for those of you that are new, I call the president Nikolai Carpathia. If you don't know who that is, go watch or read Left Behind. Carpathia was a fictional character in a Christian book series about Revelation that was the Antichrist. And a lot of what the president is doing is exactly what Nikolai Carpathia in these books did in the books. That's why I call him Carpathia. Okay, so my number one question is why Carpathia, the most transparent president we've ever seen, is attacking Iran. I've heard that last October he obliterated their nuclear capabilities, but I've seen and heard nothing about Iran threatening the U.S. with any kind of strike. So you guys are probably all yelling at me now because maybe what I'm hearing is not what you guys are hearing. And maybe because I'm not doing as much research anymore. So my knowledge on stuff now is very limited. So bear with me on this. Okay, so maybe they have. Now, I know Carpathia, in one speech that he said, was saying, oh, they're chanting death to America. So are a lot of other countries. But you don't see him going after them. That's my point. My second question is, why is Israel helping? You don't see any other country helping. It's just the U.S. and Israel. And to me, this has the feel of Hitler going into Poland. It's like the beginning of World War III. Do you feel the same way? Comment below, please. He never got congressional approval despite what, what is his name? I can see him. He was one of the, at the time, I think he was a congressman that was part of that town hall meeting in Parkland, Florida. And now, I don't know if he's like Secretary of State or he's from Florida. His name will probably come to my mind. I'm sure you guys are all yelling it right now. Or maybe even putting it in the comments. I don't know. But yeah, this guy was saying, well, we only needed to talk to the grade 8 or whatever he called them. We only needed to talk to 8 people. We informed them that we were doing this. Okay, that's not really getting congressional approval. That's you saying to them, oh, we're going to go ahead and bomb, we don't care what you say. Okay? So, let me restate this. He never got congressional approval, which makes this super illegal. Now it appears Iran, at the time, this was last Saturday, but now it appears Iran, I think, is bombing the UAE? What do they have to do with anything? I don't see them hurling bombs at Iran. So I don't know why they're going after the UAE and Dubai and all these other places. So then I took a headline from CNN that says, Trump threatens strong force if Iran continues to retaliate. Think about that statement. we're going to keep bombing you if you keep bombing us or bombing other countries. So what? They're just supposed to roll over and say, okay, go ahead and level our city and kill our children, and we won't retaliate whatsoever. Does that make any sense to anybody? Honestly. Are you kidding? That thinking makes no sense. We keep bombing and expect them not to retaliate? One of the bombs, I'm sure you've heard about this by now, hit an elementary school that has thus far, at this time, this is what the number was when I wrote it, killed 148 children. From what I understand, they were from ranging in age from like 9 to 12 or 14. Killing children. And the reason I said one of the bombs is because I don't know if it was a bomb that was from the U.S. or from Israel. That one was a little bit unclear to me. Anyway, here's what I understand with this whole Iran thing. He wanted a regime change, right? Okay, the leader has been killed. So mission accomplished, right? Why keep bombing? Even if what you're hearing is true, now this is to a friend of mine, and I'll tell you what I'm referencing because he wrote me back. We have no proof. Let me show you what I posted on my Facebook page the other day. So let me go back to what this friend of mine said. He said, I have heard that Iran was starting back to making nuclear weapons, and they were warned not to do that. It's against a treaty they signed in 2018. And that Iran was starting to threaten some of the United States allies, not the U.S., but the allies, and they were targeting some of the U.S. military bases with drones. This is news to me. I haven't heard that, but then again, like I said, I'm not really hawking all over the news anymore. The United States also wanted a regime change because they felt the leadership in power is hostile. To which I responded to him, like Carpathia isn't hostile? Look how he treats Democrats and reporters. Okay, so let me get back to what I was saying. This is what I had posted on my normal Facebook page. I will never understand why the U.S. has to go after countries in the Middle East that are building nuclear missiles. These are facts, okay? This is where I did a little bit of research. 9 countries possess nuclear weapons. The United States, Russia, France, China, the United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. Russia has the most confirmed nuclear weapons, with over 5,500 nuclear warheads. Does anybody even think to look this information up? The United States follows behind with 5,044 nuclear warheads, hosted in the U.S. and 5 other nations: Turkey, Italy, Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. To take a quote from the show Seventh Heaven, I don't know if you guys ever remember that show. Why is it okay for us to have nuclear weapons but no one else can? Is it because we're smart enough to know not to use them but they aren't? I found no proof that Iran was even planning on using any missiles against them, even against us, even if they have them. I think North Korea would be a bigger threat since they tested missiles to see if they can get them from North Korea to here, although you haven't heard about that lately. Or especially Russia, since they have way more nuclear warheads than we do. I see nowhere on these lists the country of Iran. So then I linked a video of Luke Beasley to my friend here. And after he watched it, he said, very strong points, a good video. I didn't realize he was so young when you talked about him. Your research is like his. You both know what you're talking about. So I said, I take some of my points from him, actually, which is actually true. So then we started talking about Nikolai Carpathia again. What did he put? He said, that's what all social media podcasters do, so yours is an extension from him, but you still put your own twist on it. He said, you may have to interrupt your family genealogy video to do one more on Carpathia's craziness, which I got a good laugh out of. I know you want to stay away from the negative atmosphere, but your thoughts need to be heard. He might be going crazy right before our very eyes. And I said, I'm sorry, he might be? What other moron interrupts a meeting with oil execs to look at a foundation that's slated to be a ballroom? Or, in the case of another meeting that or it wasn't even a meeting, I think it was a press conference in the last couple of days, where he's supposed to be talking about this conflict, or whatever you want to call it, in Iran. And then he looks at the curtains that are covering a window that's going to be leading out to the freaking ballroom. Why is he so obsessed with this ballroom? Instead of attacking what's going on in the world today. So Luke Beasley Luke Beasley, he put a video clip up, or a news clip up, where reporters were asking him about these attacks in Iran. Now, he was outside. Carpathia was outside. The lights were not on him, but because you could kind of see him in the dark, because it was dark time, or nighttime. And his helicopter was going. I don't know if he was coming back or going somewhere, but it was at the White House. And these reporters were asking him about what was going on in Iran. You couldn't really hear what his response was, but apparently Luke Beasley was able to filter out the noise in the background to hear what his response was. And he said, it's unbelievable. Look at these beautiful statues in the Rose Garden. What? This is supposed to be our leader? And he doesn't answer a question about Iran, but he talks about statues in the Rose Garden. I mean, any of you that still are faithful to him, can you separate yourself from him for just a minute? Just like a week or two, and just watch his responses to some of these questions that he's being asked, which incidentally, since this Iran thing, he's not really answering questions with the media. Have you been noticing that? He says what he has to say, and then he leaves. He doesn't even answer questions from the media. Obviously, because he's asked a question about Iran, and he's talking about statues in a rose garden. Oh my God. So then I went on another little rant with my friend. Quote unquote, I'm the greatest, most transparent president this country has ever had. To quote a little bit from Hamilton, President Donald Trump, good luck. Yeah, okay. Keep telling yourself that. You acted like a baby when you didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. So the woman who did win, I believe she was from Venezuela, gave you hers. I question her mentality in that. You didn't earn it. You pardoned, and when I'm saying you, I'm talking to the Carpathia. You pardoned all those who vandalized the Capitol, who later became ICE agents, by the way. You renamed the Gulf of Mexico, kidnapped the president of Venezuela and his wife, appointed criminals as the press secretary and the secretary of the DHS, and the attorney general refused to answer questions about Epstein. You say you're the most transparent? How about releasing all the files and unredacting the names of the pedophiles? I just heard all of you stand up and applaud. So my friend responded saying, facts, facts, and more facts. That's a good video clip right there. So my response was, this dude swore an oath to protect, defend, and uphold the Constitution, yet he acts in his own self-interest. He doesn't care about those who put him in office and now are regretting their decision. Now he's contemplating signing an executive order, I don't know if you've heard of this, to move voting from states to federal to be sure no Democrats ever hold any seats. Narcissist. So that's kind of the end of my rant here. What I would really, really love is to meet in person. No cameras, no security, nobody else. Just me and these people one-on-one. Because I have a million questions to ask them, which I'm sure are the same questions you guys would be asking. Number one, I would love to talk to Carolyn Levitt. Put her in her place, little 29-year-old twit. Number two, Kristi Noem. I don't think I have to tell you why. I've said it in my other videos. Number three, you'd have to hold me back with Pam Bondi. That woman, if you can even call her a woman, is so arrogant. I mean, the adjectives to use for her, I don't think I even can put it on my channel. Because I don't think YouTube would allow that. And plus, I don't use those kind of words on a daily basis. I would love to talk to each of them individually. I would put Kash Patel on there, but at least he's not as rare as these women. Pam Bondi, maybe it's menopause. Kristi Noem, I have no freaking clue what could be causing her to act the way she does. Now she's in front of the Judiciary Committee again to answer for what she didn't answer for the first time. I'm just now starting to see the clips where somebody, I think it was somebody in the political office, I don't know which, if he's a senator or a congressman from Chicago, I think it was him or it was somebody else, asking if she would apologize for calling the two people that were murdered here in January by ICE agents domestic terrorists. And in the one clip that I saw, which is a short clip, again, Luke Beasley, she said, I was going off of what I was told by people on the ground because it was complete chaos. Oh my God, people. When she said those words, it was complete chaos, she fails to think. She fails to use her eyes to see that it was her ICE agents that caused the chaos. We can all agree on that. We can all agree on that. Now, when she first came out, the day he was murdered, before any of the video clips were even published at all, and she called him a domestic terrorist, saying that he showed up with guns, as in plural, and ammunition, as in plural, and attacked the ICE agents. First of all, she didn't know, because number one, she wasn't here. to see it with her own eyes. And like I said, this is before the video clips were coming out. Shortly before the video clips came out, because they came out pretty doggone quick after it happened. But there was another video that I've seen that was like a week or two prior, where Alex Preddy, again, was in the streets of Minneapolis. I don't know if it was the same area, but he was on the streets in a protest. He was kind of off by himself. And yes, he did kind of rush a little bit towards the guards, or towards the agents. And as the agents got into their vehicle, he did attack the car. He kicked the taillight out. He was punching the car, but he wasn't holding a gun. He did have his gun on him at that time too, because you can see it in his waistband in the back of his, the same place that it was on him the day that he got killed. He never reached for his gun in that instance either. I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but he was aggressive towards the ICE agents on that day. So was she taking her comments to that video? Possibly. That I could see her saying that he was a domestic terrorist and he attacked the agents and you know, all that stuff. He did not brandish his weapon, though, at that time. He had his cell phone, again, in his hand. He was filming the whole thing. But he never reached for his gun. His gun was in his waistband, in his back, in his pants in the back. That did happen, because I've seen the video. Kind of like with the George Floyd thing. I know I keep going back to that, and it's old news and stuff like that, because that happened in 2020. But the year before George Floyd was killed, almost to the day, he was also stopped by the police, although this time he was a passenger in the vehicle. And you could clearly see he was on something at that time too. And the police knocked on his door, and he kind of responded the same way that he did the day he was killed, but not nearly as frantic, shall I say. It was not in the same spot. It was actually just outside of Minneapolis. Just east. I mean, it was technically still in Minneapolis, but not downtown. It was just a few blocks away from downtown. And he was on a side street. They were just kind of sitting there. It was him and his friends. It wasn't, I don't think it was the same people that were in the car with him the day that he got killed. I don't think it was. It's been a while since I've seen the video. But literally a year prior to him being killed, he did act frantically, but they handcuffed him, and he willingly got in the car at that point, because you see body camera footage, and then they show him getting out of the car at the police station. Now, why he acted so erratic that day, maybe he was higher that day that he was killed. I really don't know. I wasn't in his mind. I wasn't there. But he did, I mean, when the police first came up to him the year prior, he did kind of freak out a little bit. And he wasn't going to get out of the car at first, but then the police kind of grabbed him out of the car. And, you know, he kind of acted a little bit the same way, a lot more mild than he did the day that he was killed. But he willingly got in the car that day. Didn't say anything about being claustrophobic or anything like that. He did get in the car. I mean, it did take him a little bit to get him in the car, the police. But he did get in the car. They didn't have to drag him in. He did get in the car. They kind of guided him in like they do with everybody, but they didn't have to like shove him into the car and get somebody on the other side and drag him through or whatever. But then a year later, he acted more erratic. And he was a driver at that time. I mean, he was in the driver's seat that time. I don't know, because they were, like I said, they were stopped on the side of the road, so it's not like the police were following them and stopped them. They were already stopped on the side of the road when the police came up, and they didn't have their lights on. The police didn't have their lights on or anything. I don't know if they had gotten a call from somebody that was in the neighborhood that said that his car looked suspicious or something. I don't know the whole story behind that one. But I think he was booked on possession of drugs. I think. I don't know. But it was like a year prior to his death. But again, keep in mind, George Floyd was killed over a fake $20 bill. Personally, I don't think that the store owner should have even called the police over a fake $20 bill. You know? I mean, it wasn't like a big store. It was like a mom and pop store on a corner of the street or whatever. But I can't imagine that $20 was that big of a deal. Why didn't the guy? I mean, it was clear that when the police went out, they were still sitting on the side of the road. They hadn't gone anywhere. And the guy even showed, the store owner or whatever, the manager of the store, even showed the police where the vehicle was. So why did he even call the police in the first place? Why didn't he just go out to them and say, hey, look, you guys, you gave me a fake $20 bill. Either you pay for whatever it was that he bought, cigarettes or whatever, or I'm going to have to take the cigarettes back. George Floyd would still be alive if the store owner would have acted responsibly. Not that I'm saying that George Floyd's death is the manager's fault, but he shouldn't have had to call the police over a $20 bill. That's just my opinion. Now, had it been a $100 bill, maybe, a higher bill or whatever, maybe, but $20? I don't know. To me, that just seems like he could have de-escalated it by just going out to the vehicle, because he wasn't the only worker there, so it's not like he would have left the store unattended. And he could have just walked out and said, hey guys, this is a fake $20 bill. You're going to have to pay with something else, or I'm going to have to take the product back. And they would have all been on their way, and George Floyd would still be alive today. That's just my feeling. Do you agree? Disagree? Comment? So, anyway, this video was basically to tell you that I'm going back to work. I know I got way sidetracked. So let me tell you a little bit about me going back to work. So I do have a weight restriction, which is 15 pounds now. I just have to realize that I have to pace myself. So I will be going back to work, as far as I know, full time. Right now I'm only scheduled for one day next week, because I did talk to my managers and stuff over there. So I will be going back to work next week. You might be asking, oh, are you excited to go back? Are you nervous? Whatever. A little bit of both, actually. Because I have been home for 3 months, not working, but getting paid, which is a good thing. I am anxious to get out of this apartment. I mean, it is starting to warm up now. But because I'm basically a recluse, and being around people too much kind of gets my anxiety going. And our store will be going into our busy season, because with spring and everything, more people are out shopping and that. So we will be coming into our busy season. But hopefully it'll be a few weeks before that happens, so I can kind of ease into it. So for 2 months, I am put on a 15-pound weight restriction at work. I forgot to ask the doctor about limited hours, so that's why I agreed to go back full time. So yes, I am anxious to get out of my apartment and get back to work and start making money again. I mean, like I said, I have been getting paid from workman's comp this whole time. And pretty much what I was getting paid before anyway. So in that respect, yes, I am anxious to get back to work and get out of this apartment. It does mean less videos from me though, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed all these videos that I've been putting out, especially the last few weeks. But it's not impossible that I can put out videos now and again. But going back to work, I'm obviously going to be more tired, which means I'm not going to feel like doing videos. So you won't see as many videos from me after this week. I'm probably going to put out at least one more video of my Who Am I series. But probably no more no more research videos for me for a while, I think. Again, go to Luke Beasley to get your fill of that. He has more time to do that because I think that's his job. But I am also anxious about going back to work because do I think I can do the job with my arm still kind of sore? Let's hope so. So that's basically, I meant for this to be like 10, 15, 20-minute video, and it's probably been like 40 minutes now or more. But, so yeah, that's where we're at. So I wanted to thank you guys for your support over the past 3 months that I have been at home with nothing to do, which is why I've put out a few more videos. Especially during those cold days that I didn't have to go anywhere. That was a good thing. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. And wish me luck with going back to work. The one last thing I'm going to say is my birthday's coming up on Sunday. I don't say that to get birthday wishes. You're more than welcome to wish me a happy birthday in the comments. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a local mall and watch some Irish dancing, which is one of my favorite things to do. It makes me happy and sad at the same time because I can't do Irish dancing anymore. I did it for 3 years. And as much as I would love to continue doing it, my ankle is not letting me do it anymore. And of course, at my age, I haven't exercised. I mean, I'm sure maybe if I kind of got back into it and eased into it, I probably could do Irish dancing again, but I don't trust that I wouldn't hurt myself again. So I think at this point in my life, I'm going to have to understand that it's time to slow down, folks, and it's time to realize I'm flirting with 60. I'm not turning 60 this year, but I'm flirting with 60, and, you know, you're not a spring chicken forever. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for becoming a member of the Sunshine Fam. I meant to do shout outs, but maybe on the next one I'll do shout outs. Obviously not all 314 of you, but a good list of the people that I have from my YouTube channel that I wrote your names down. So look for a video that I will put it in the title somewhere, shout outs. So you'll know when I'll shout out your name. I will not charge you for it. I'm just going to recognize you that you are part of the Sunshine Fam. So I appreciate all of you. You guys take care of yourselves. Try and stay calm during this tumultuous time in history. And hopefully this conflict will not last forever, as he says. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Month this month. I mean, it's not St. Patrick's Day yet, but you might be watching this on St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day. And no, I didn't color my hair because I knew I was going to be going back to work and they don't like it when I color my hair. So unfortunately, I couldn't do that this year. Would have loved to, but all right, I'm going to shut up now. You guys have a sunny day and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.